Good morning, New Jersey. I'm your host, Liz Vaynerchuk Novello, and today is episode 3. I'm so excited to be here. I have a special guest, Lynne Hirsh from Lynne Hirsh Interior Design. Funny story, we met many years ago, and we were at the same dinner for a mutual friend's birthday. Didn't sit on the same side, so didn't really speak, but recently we reconnected, especially because in real estate, we work with a lot of vendors, and our mutual friend connected us. So would love to introduce Lynne Hirsh to the show.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you.
Hey, Lynne.
Liz, thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited.
Of course. I just want to say thank you, Mitch, for tuning in, and Chef Lizette. Always good to see everybody. I first want to talk about the fact that we sat at the same dinner table at 3 West here in Baskin Ridge, New Jersey. We weren't in the same spotlight side of the table. And Catherine had reintroduced us because you recently did her bedroom, and I was so in love. I love interior design, hence part of the reason I got into real estate. And I thought that you did such a lovely job of bringing in exactly what she wanted and envisioned and creating that space. And so we've been talking, and now we have another mutual friend that's going to use you. So I want to welcome you to the show because I think that as a serial entrepreneur, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, you have so much to offer because literally, Lynne, from the time that I've known you with our mutual friend, Catherine, I know that you were a graphic designer, I believe, a photographer, and now you're doing this interior design. And I know that you've written a children's book. So can you speak on Lynne's adventures in entrepreneurship?
Yes. So I guess it started at a really young age. I think it started when I was making those little drawings of tattoos. I used to love to draw, so I would draw little tattoos and then cut them up, and then you could put them on your skin and wet them. And then I decided to sell those. I think I might have been something like 11 years old. So
Who were you? Like, this is what makes me obsessed with you. How did the tattoos, like, I don't even know how to do that now.
I don't even know, and kids should be doing that now.
And how much did you sell them for?
If only I could remember, but I would have a bucket of them, and I would try selling these little tattoos that you put on your skin, wet it, and it actually stayed. So
that's fantastic.
So any craft that I would ever do, which was everything under the sun. I mean, I love to draw. I love to do things like that. So it would turn into a business. Is just the way it always went. So yeah.
So the creativity and just that natural ability of wanting to sell and build businesses.
I think so. Yes, for sure.
Speak about what was first, graphic design and then the children's book?
So it all kind of came hand in hand. When I used to work for a company called the television show Inside Edition.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, I was their photographer, their stills coordinator, so their photography coordinator, and their exclusive photographer. So when I was there, I used to do like caricatures of, I think the company saw that I was doing caricatures of, while in my spare time, of everyone in the office. And then, of course, that turned into a business as well. So somebody would ask me for a caricature of their wife that I would then sell them in a frame for a birthday present.
Right.
And company was so nice, and they gave me that platform to go learn Photoshop, web design. They just saw that there was something in me that wanted to do that. And this was way back when web was like brand new. So they gave me the opportunity to do the Inside Edition website, all these great opportunities. They gave me the platform to learn all of this stuff. So I started Zoom Design, a graphic design company, on the side as well. So that was going on all while I was working at this other company. And then the children's book happened all during that too, because I always wanted to write a children's book.
And what's the children's book?
So actually I have it here. It was, it's called Some Things You Should Know Wherever You Go.
Cute.
And it's mostly because I love to draw. So a lot of it is just little lessons. This is kind of relevant.
So did you illustrate this too?
Yeah. So this is mainly, I illustrated it and wrote it because I like to draw. I haven't been doing that as much. But they're just little lessons about things that, we all need to know in life. Look both ways when you cross the street.
Right. What year was that, Lynne?
Oh God, that was a long time ago. I would say 19 Oh God, I can't even remember when this was. I have to look and see. I'm bad with dates.
No worries. So was it
I
when
can
you were
tell
a
you when I
mom?
was like 25. Yeah,
So it was before you were even a mom.
oh yeah, it was before I was a mom. I was doing it when I was kind of doing all these other little ventures while working at Inside Edition.
And speak on the graphic design business that you had. What was like the main thing? Who hired you? What was that all about?
So I went after Inside Edition to work at a web-based company. And so then the internet kind of crashed at that time. So I like concentrated on this side company and did that for 20 years.
Really?
From the start of it to then making logos, making websites, all of those everything graphic design related.
And then what happened? What stopped you from continuing that? Did the
So,
interior design start to like
so
spin off,
So
or
I got
what
laid
was it?
off. The whole company
Okay.
ended. The whole company
Okay.
kind of went away because, like I said, the internet kind of crashed
Sure.
that industry at the time. So then I was doing all of this graphic design on my own. And then you could get a website for $9.99 a month, where I was sitting there coding it for hours and hours and hours, really like writing code. And so I realized I just can't compete with that anymore. And I kind of needed to reinvent myself in a more established way. So I happened to have done my own kitchen in my house.
Yep.
It was like really old, 1970s. And I lived in it
So
for
you had linoleum, you had
all of that stuff. I had,
brown and yellows,
oh my God, the yellows. When I moved in, I didn't know that they painted.
Formica.
Yes, and they painted the stove that was olive green.
Stop
cream.
it.
And so as I was cleaning the stove, it would the underneath green.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've heard of painting tile. I've seen people paint pink and blue bathrooms from the 70s. I've never heard of just painting the stove.
And you should never do that.
Of
It
course.
should never be done. I think they
Gosh.
did it to sell the house and make it look good. So, I mean, the oven was painted from the olive green, but when I moved in, I mean, it was cream. It wasn't good, but who knew that when I was scrubbing my stove, out would come green. So I lived like that for 5 years until I could like gather the money and raise the money to do my own kitchen right.
I love that point, because a lot of people, I sell houses. So
Yeah.
a lot of times you need to have the vision, depending on your budget and also your preference. Some people love to do design and decorating and remodeling, but a lot of times I think it's so important to remember to look at the bones of the house. If the house is in a great location, you waited years to do your kitchen. And honestly, I would do that too, but I think my husband and I would kill each other if we went through a remodel, because I really know what remodeling is all about growing up in my family. So you lived like that for 5 years, you said?
To that point, yeah, I think that people sometimes do need to live in their homes to realize what they want to do the right way. So I waited and I waited. And of course, me being a designer at the time, knowing design, but not fully a designer, it was killing me living like this. It would be terrible, but it was just, I really wanted to do it. And so then finally I did it. And a lot of friends saw it and loved it. And it just kind of naturally started to turn in this progression where my realtor at the time posted something like, oh, before and after, what it looked like before and what you can do with your home.
Sure.
And then I started getting a lot of requests about it. And I just realized that I loved doing it so much, and it turned into a new form of art for me. So now all of a sudden my Photoshop skills turned into making boards. All of these things that I love, that's art, was now turning into like an empty canvas with a space and making that into a new piece of art.
What was the biggest, like when you actually got to do your kitchen? Because I always envision, I think I want to buy a new house just to decorate it, honestly.
I understand
and I love that. So what was something in your kitchen that you still love to this day?
There are so many things. I happen to have made it white. So from going from this kind of dark and ugly kitchen, it feels so much brighter and lighter and prettier. I love I can show you at the end, but I just love the natural live edge table that we did. It just feels so light and bright to me in there now.
Lynn, do you have this problem? Because for me, like, my gosh, if we were handy, I'd be doing projects all the time, but we're not handy. So you're obviously creative and handy probably. And so do you want to change even fabrics on like things or material in your kitchen often, or are you kind of content and happy in that space for years?
So, so far I've been good with that, but believe me, every time I see new things come out, I go to North Carolina twice a year and I walk through these showrooms and everything is gorgeous. So I would love, I have an old sectional, I would love to just replace that. But every time I think about it, I know that if I did that, it would just be.
It's like you change the pillows, you change the window
Right.
treatments, you change the rugs, and then you're like, gotta change this, it's like a snowball effect. So can we speak about what was the first thing you did when you decided like, okay, I might have something here with interior design. My kitchen came out great. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Number one, what was that first moment like when somebody said, hey, can you do my kitchen? Or was there a person that, who hired you first?
So after this, I did a couple small little things here and there that, just little things for people. And then I had a very good friend who had a beautiful empty palette of a home, gorgeous. And she really gave me the opportunity to take my vision and run with it. And that was huge for me. So we started with like two or three of her rooms and it just kind of snowballed from there. And then it was referrals. People would see that and then I would post that and then it became more and more and more.
And so talk about that, like first time, obviously doing it as a serial entrepreneur that you are, you probably don't have fear.
I think it's scary. You're working with some expensive things, like if that sectional doesn't fit in its space, I agree that that's scary. But I do think taking risks is really important. And some people I think are scared of that. And I would just encourage people to take those risks because nothing terrible is going to happen. It might be some money, it might be this and that, but everything's fixable, I've found. And it can be fixed. Whatever happens can be fixed. So there is a lot, I think, at stake here, but it's worth it to go for it.
I love that. I love saying everything can be fixed because I actually am very fear-based and I have to think and overthink. Everything I've done well, but it takes me a long time to get there. So hearing that everything can be fixed it's so true. It's like whether it's money or emotions, you'll get through it. So talk about why people hire interior decorators.
So I think it saves people money. I mean time, money and time.
Tell me.
Both. So the thing is I go to North Carolina to what would be basically the Disney World of furniture. You go and it's a world over there. It's in High Point, North Carolina.
I'm coming with you. It's
amazing. It's
when
really
we can.
great. It's great. And so you go and you see every kind of vendor out there, every furniture thing, everything that you can't get through just a Crate and Barrel, going to a Pottery Barn. All these unique lights, unique everything. So I go and I feel and touch everything that's going on in there. And I'm able to offer that to people that they might not be able to find on their own. So if they need a certain size couch or a certain size chair or a different looking chair, I'm able to know that I found those things. And I can save people time from having to search and sift through the websites and trying to find what's good. And truthfully, I know the difference between what's durable and what's not. So although it can save people some money to buy from Wayfair, I would warn people that some of that stuff falls apart after a little while. Some of it, not all of it. So I can save people money as well in terms of my what's called trade discounts. I'm able to get these discounts that I'm able to partially pass on to people. And most importantly, I think, is that at the end of the day, you want your room to look finished and done. So you might be able to go and find a couch or a sectional, but the truth is that you need artwork, you need window treatments, you need a rug. Everything needs to coordinate together to become something that's fully done.
And we're not talking matchy. I know we've touched upon this. This is a lesson my mom taught me. Even she's really incredibly talented. and I think she missed her calling, but
she still has time. She can do it.
That's true. It's never too late. But here's the thing. I think that, yes, by the way, 14 years ago when I bought my crate and barrel sectional, it cost a lot of money and it was difficult for me to buy that. But although it lasted, there is something to be said. I've seen many homes. There is something to be said when a decorator comes in, and it's just like known from the start. It's like everything feels right. It feels inviting, but it feels glamorous at the same time. And it's just a happy space.
And coordinated, I think.
And coordinator. Lynn, let's talk about trends that we see coming for 2021.
So I've seen a lot of rattan and cane. I don't know if you know, I don't really have an example.
Do you have no example? Okay, explain it.
But cane is kind of, you might remember it from like the 70s. It's like that, those little circles that are on the back of chairs, sometimes inlay in doors. Rattan is actually made out of a plant, so it's very natural feeling. And the thing is I think we're going into that natural sense.
I love it.
Very organic. So like those synthetics that are out there are turning into more wool rugs and things like that. The wools and the naturals, even the fabrics are very natural. Everything feels neutral and natural right now.
What was, besides wool rugs, right? Like what was the trend prior to wool rugs?
I mean, there's still a trend of these synthetic rugs, and you know what? They clean up very well. There's good things about them, and there's good things about some of these synthetics, but sometimes they make rugs out of materials that look like silk, but truthfully, they're not cleanable, which I also want to say that a lot of the trend for now is cleanable fabrics. They have come out with incredible fabrics that allow you to clean it. Literally pour a glass of wine on it and it rolls off.
Lynn, I need that in my life because I'm a mom, and if I'm spending, I'm so frugal. If I'm spending something, I literally ask my husband, when we first moved here, I didn't want him sitting on my couch. Like I was like, don't sit on that.
Right.
Like, I'm horrible. But I grew up in a room where my mom kind of lined off and we never went in there, and I've continued it. It never really bothered me. I do like, I remember my mother-in-law many years ago saying that my house looked like somebody didn't live in it. And I actually like that. I like that look. And I think everybody's entitled to their look. And let's talk about that. Like, well, we'll come back to 2021 trends, but let's talk about designers have to have the ability to make a home the way that their clients see it, not necessarily the way you like it or the way you envision. How do you do that? Because honestly, I don't know if I would have like an easy time. I'd be like, no, come over here. I'll show you what's really great. For example, I like a more masculine style. When I see a very romantic bedroom, that's not my style. So I don't know if I would be a good designer helping. How do you decipher and how do you go about helping clients that have different styles than you do?
Well, actually, first, that manly kind of look is actually in also right now. Yeah, you're doing it right, because those Burberry like fabrics, the ones that are wool and plaids and things like that I will talk about. The browns are back in quickly. Sorry,
that's crazy. Let's talk about the browns. Browns were so in 14 years ago.
So browns are back, but I just want to tell you that it's more of like that caramel and biscuit color, not like those red and orange browns. So not like those chestnutty browns. It's more of those biscuit colors, and they're beautiful. And those natural kind of woods. Actually, I have a couple here. So
show me.
They're kind of like it's just natural. You can see the natural veining in there. They're very natural looking. And so also those, like I said, those browns are coming back. But for those of you who have all painted your houses gray, which I know everyone has because that was the trend going on, it's still there. It's just a matter of adding in some more of these browns with it.
And something that I've learned from my mom is that gray is actually a neutral color. So don't be scared if you bought yourself a modern gray, modern transitional gray couch that you like. What could somebody, how could they incorporate that taupe? That's something Lynn can come and share and throw accessories. Is it accessories? Like, what do you think if you come to the house and someone's like, please do my living room, but I want to keep this couch. Do you do that, or do you?
Of course. So if there's something that's in great condition and they love it and it's pretty and it looks good, and then let's add some brown plaid pillows in there that are more trending right now. You know, that there's actually paint now that is considered grayish. So like we can
Tell
add
me,
some of that
yeah, what's that
beigey.
grayish?
You can add the beigey color that is coming back, that beigey brown in with the gray, and then it's called grayish. And then you're matching your gray. And grays and browns look great together, actually.
I love that idea because I by nature am more, I love more warm colors than I do cool colors.
Right. Okay.
Even though the blues, I love the blues, I love the grays, but for some reason I've always naturally wanted to go, I like to be safe in furniture, like especially because you're spending so much money on furniture. I always find like accessories, even though I'm not good at it, and you know you're coming to my next house
I would love
to do everything. But, you know, talking about that finished look, for me, it's like my aunt did custom window treatments. My aunt Vika did custom window treatments for my kids. And I literally, they have the best window treatments in our house. And I love that look. I always say that window treatments that are custom to me finish a room off.
I agree. I love window treatments. I think they make the space, and I think they can take your natural elements like your couch, your chair, and really pop the room. With pillows too. Pillows are a great way to add texture and color and all of those things that pop the room.
In a fabric that you can pick and make custom, because there's definitely a whole different look buying a pillow from a box store, you know, than getting a custom look.
I think because then you can finish the room right. Like I could say to you, okay, this is your rug, and this is the exact yellow that will match perfectly. You can't necessarily find that like online sometimes.
Lynn, I never hire a designer. So can you tell me, like, let's say you're coming to my house and I say to you, I really want to do my living room. Mm-hmm. Do people give you the budget that they have?
They do.
And then how do you work? What's the usual? What is the standard? Like, how do you do this?
The budget is hard. That's my hardest part. I like to do the art part of it. I really don't like the money part of it, only because people's money, it's hard to spend their money.
Sure.
Sometimes furniture is expensive, and it's hard to explain why this stuff is what it is. Dining chairs are like very expensive. All of this stuff can be higher than you think. So I'll go in and kind of look at the space, and we'll have a conversation about where they want to go with it and what that might cost them.
Sure.
Yeah, normally.
Could people hire you at a lower budget, or like, is this considered like, you know, I'm always wondering, like, could I, you know, can I afford it? What are some things that you would say to people who are thinking about hiring somebody because they really want to make that space? Can you help them for, you know, all types of budgets?
I think so. I mean, it really depends on what budget can mean.
Sure. You're right, Lynn.
It's so different. So I would love to say to somebody, look, let's get this off of Wayfair, but then I don't want it to fall apart in a year.
Sure.
So I feel really strongly about using things that are durable, and there are things out there that are less expensive than others, but sometimes it's really hard with just the cost of things right now to ensure that I can find those things, because they're hard to find sometimes that are very inexpensive.
What's
there are things out there.
What's your favorite space to design? If you get your choice, which room would you gravitate to?
So I would say two things. I love the bedroom, because I feel that that's a place that you go and you kind of unwind at the end of the day. And I did my bedroom last in my house. And I kind of realized afterwards how important that bedroom is. It's like we're working so hard and we just want to go and unwind and be in a space that feels peaceful and calming. So I like the fact that after a stressful day, somebody can lay in their bed, look around, and feel calm. And that's a place where I know I love to do. I also love to do living rooms similarly, or family rooms, I should call it, because the family is making memories there. Yeah. The family is sitting there. I remember in my family room, staring at the red fireplace, the brick fireplace, staring at the pictures on the wall, and knowing that we all played games in there and did things. And those are memories that if I can make that space feel right for a family, that's all I want.
I love that. And you're so right. I feel like my kids' bedrooms are way better than mine. And I think, you know, as a mom, I think we think of ourselves last. And I bet you that bedrooms tend to be the last priority. My friend and I were just speaking, you're going to help my friend out. She said that you did your garage, or you did a shed.
I did. I did a back garage. This was just a fun project to do. And we made it into a backyard bar. And the whole family's
Fun.
using it. I mean, it's coronavirus. So we're
Right.
opening windows, opening doors back there, cranking heat with, and everyone's using it differently. And we're enjoying it a lot. I think it's a great thing. If anybody has an extra space, I actually have to say it's worth doing something with it.
Somebody just said, it's so funny. I was just DMing with another mom, and I was saying that I think we were talking about real estate, of course, and I was sharing that I'm in search of a house. And something that I realized now that my husband, we have never ever, my husband has always worked a lot and he's not commuting to the city. So we definitely need an office space. Do you feel like homes, are you going to be decorating much more office spaces?
Oh my God, I have been. I've been doing a lot of guest room / office spaces because people need offices and they don't know what to do because they have no space for it. So
Sure.
the guest room is now dueling as the
Sure.
office. And so that if people are doing that, it's a nice idea to do a sofa bed where people can actually sleep on that and then also have a desk. Or
How
even
about like a Murphy bed, right?
Murphy beds are back.
So my little brother did a Murphy bed. I never knew about that. And I wasn't sure. And my mom said the mattress was actually a regular mattress and super comfortable. And
Yeah.
it looks sleek and it saves you space, especially in smaller rooms.
100%. Yeah, it's a great way to make the purpose dual purpose.
RV Home, thank you so much for joining us. Shannon and I have been connected on Instagram, and she's an agent there too, and she was saying that she's so over agreeable gray, and
agreeable gray.
and Kat joined us, and Dana and Erin, thank you so much for tuning in. And Carrie, we're talking about interior design for 2021 with Lynne Hirsh. We were talking about, like, I need a she shed. Like, I can't even say
Everyone
a she
needs
shed,
it.
right? We need like a place. Even doing this Good Morning show, I'm like, I need my whole family out because I'm like, I need to change the energy. I need it quiet.
Right.
And so tell me something through all your businesses, because you've had many, what's a lesson that you feel that you've had to overcome? Like, how do you deal with disappointments? Because, as much as we think and we want what's best for clients, I don't know, are you like me? Like, I go on these listing appointments and sometimes I get them and sometimes I don't. How do you keep yourself positive after maybe being told that a different designer got the job?
That's a good question. I think that makes sense. Sometimes people have different styles than I do. So I don't get that terribly upset. Luckily, knock on wood, I have a nice amount of business right now. So if that's the case, I just think that's the way my life is supposed to be. Maybe that client wasn't meant for me, and that just didn't work. That didn't work out for reasons that I have no idea. But let's just move on to the next one and concentrate.
Right. Lynn, let's talk about the fact that your business, like word of mouth and social, right? You've dominated, like when you put out a photo, which, by the way, I had no idea you photograph your own rooms, which I find impressive. What happens? Like, somebody sees it, they DM you, or where's been the biggest traction for you online? Where do you get the most business online?
Most of it is from Instagram, a lot of it Facebook. I really have to say, I just want to say one thing, is that I think that if anybody's trying to build their own business, social media is the way to go. You have to put in the time. It can be cumbersome. I mean, I have to take like truckloads of accessories to these photo shoots and I'm like lugging them in, and I have so much junk in my garage because there's all these things that I'm placing on bookshelves and all of that stuff. But it's so worth it in the end, because all that time spent then leads to the next project. And so if you, and photography is easy these days because they make these beautiful, the iPhone makes beautiful photos. So if you could take the time to do those things and photograph and post it, it's a surefire way to get more business.
Tell me where people could find you.
I would say, so at Lynne Hirsh, it's LYN, not at, my kids make fun of me for that. The hashtag, whatever, Lynne Hirsh, LYNNE Hirsh, HIRSH on Instagram. And Lynne Hirsh on Facebook, and they can find, and my website is LHDesigninteriors.com.
You got to go check it out. Beautiful. Is that your kitchen that's photographed there? The white kitchen with the island?
Yeah, that's my kitchen.
That's what started it all. And lastly, let's talk about Westfield, where you live. Let's bring it back to New Jersey. Tell me why you moved to Westfield.
So I moved to Westfield because I think of it as like Hill Valley. I think of it as like in Back to the Future. You literally see people skateboarding around, riding their bikes, walking everywhere. My kids can walk. I mean, the houses are somewhat close together, but I find that to be a benefit because the kids can all walk together. They can find each other. It creates such a sense of independence for them. So I love that. And I do want to add one more thing that I love working with some of the local vendors here.
Yeah, please tell me.
As a business person, I think it's really nice to give other business people that opportunity. And so I was lucky enough to find an artist locally. Her name is Shawn Goldstein. She has Just Name It. She's a local business who does personalized items for people. And she also is an artist. So she does some of my—
What are things that you've used from her?
Oh gosh, she does everything. She does a lot of camp stuff. If any of the kids go to camp, she makes personalized blankets, personalized shirts. She does everything. Kids toys. But more importantly, how it relates to me is that she does artwork that's beautiful. She's a talented artist, and I've been able to bring her in to projects and finish off the space with some of the things she's done. There's also Trish. She's called Shady Lady Color. She is incredible with her eye on paint and ideas for paint colors in a space and how they relate to the flooring and how they relate to the cabinetry. So she's also a local vendor that I love to use.
I love that. I mean, I'm spotlighting businesses and I believe in helping each other. So they're both locally in Westfield. What's a favorite hangout in Westfield prior to the pandemic? Things have really, shut down. What's a favorite restaurant that you and your family or you and your husband and friends visit?
Well, for me, we frequent Akai. It's called. It's just a sushi restaurant, and we love sushi, so we go there a lot. They happen to have a liquor license, which unfortunately there's not that many of those out there. So it's nice to have a glass of wine, have some sushi, relax with the family. I really like it there a lot. So
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I think there's so much to be learned in your house because we're spending so much time. I think this is the time to think about changing some of the spaces if you're staying in your home, and you could always reach out to Lynne. Thank you so much for joining us, Lynne.
Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Be well.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.